Well, cool. So let's riff. Like, who are your heroes, man? Who are your copywriting heroes?
Yeah, so I was introduced to it all by Carlton and Dan Kennedy, being the two still kicking. Gary Benzavinga as well, and then Halbert and Clayton Makepeace. Um, and I don't want to make it seem like that, you should steal their copy. You certainly shouldn't, and a lot of their copy is expired. Carlton does still put stuff out, and Dan Kennedy does still put stuff out. Um, but where these guys are masters at is just the rhythm, the nuance of language, and just coming up with like incredible emotional hooks that just, I mean, you read it and you're like, it's so far ahead of its time, it feels like. Because you look at so much copy on the web today and you're like, "Ah, this is just garbage." And you look at something written in like the 80s and you're like, it's like, people say like music used to be better back then, you know, back in the 70s and 60s and stuff. That's when you look at some of these guys' copy, that's how it feels. Um, so um, I know I when we first started talking about copy, you knew who John Carlton was,
Yeah,
and there's a reason for that because he's a
yeah.
slayer.
He's a total slayer, especially in the fitness realm, right? Wasn't he
Yeah, he
selling
did
like amazing like weightlifting and bodybuilding products?
bodybuilding, yeah,
Yeah.
and golf,
Oh yeah.
yeah, just literally crushing these tiny markets that soon just ballooned into massive markets because everyone else hopped in there. Um, but yeah, you can really get a lot of benefit out of them just because you'll see like what the possibilities of copy are. And they're great to, yeah, hand copy and read just to get into the rhythm of good copy. Um, Now, some of the strategy for modern day copy on the web has changed. So, just repurposing a John Carlton ad from 20 years ago, it's just not going to work. Okay, you probably will get some sales, but it's just not. It's not what it was. People are so sophisticated nowadays. They can literally Google anything, and try to find an answer. So it's a little bit of a different scene. I know the psychology. They always say the psychology hasn't changed, and that's true. The psychology hasn't changed, but we haven't ever seen the psychology of people where they just have mass knowledge at their fingertips like all the time. So, um, study these
Yeah.
guys, get to know them, have their information in the back of your head, and think to yourself, what would I do to make this ad better? Or how would I upgrade this ad for the modern day environment? That's the best way to use these guys. And, you can read a old Halbert ad or an old Carlton ad, and it might not pass as a sales letter, like a full on, 10,000 word sales letter. But a lot of those ideas could work for little emails, Facebook ads, or advertorials or whatnot. Um, it's just like the whole big ideas of those ads generally do not work anymore just because the markets are so sophisticated. Um, but still, I mean, yeah, their copy's literally intoxicating. It feels
Yep.
like you get a rush of energy.
Yeah. I noticed that those guys were master storytellers.
Yeah,
They made you believe that they were telling your story right in front of your face, and you had no choice but to keep reading. And that's what
yeah,
any good storyteller does. You go to see a great film, you see a bad film, you want to walk out, and bad
yeah,
copy makes you want to walk out. But good copy
yeah,
is sticky, so you want to stay because you know that if you don't stay, you might miss it. You might miss this goal that's just about around the corner. You're going to get it, and then they keep dangling the carrot. You keep reading more, you keep learning about the product, you keep reading more, and then it's just a constant process where then finally you get it, and then you want it,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah,
So
it's remarkable.
yeah, just for the awe factor, to a lot of this stuff is out there, right? You can just type in John Carlton famous ads in Google, and you'll just get them, right? Straight
Yeah,
PDFs of these ads. You can just start reading them, and there's books out
yeah.
there where copywriters publish them or whatever, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Plenty of books, and he still has an email list. You can literally
Oh,
get on his
cool.
email list, and it's the same with Dan Kennedy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that you can get from these guys that's huge is so important in today's internet marketing is personality. Like Dan Kennedy, Carlton, I mean Halbert too. Uh, which is why people love Halbert's newsletter so much is the personality aspect of it. And Carlton kind of has that cutthroat personality. Dan Kennedy has like the old curmudgeon, but he's like really funny at the same time, so dry, sarcastic humor. And there's not a lot of that. I mean, I could probably name you like 3 or 4 guys off the top of my head who do that today, but that honestly is one of the biggest proof factors in today's market because it's so hard to tell who is real, who's trying to scam you. Is this a computer typing? But when it's something with personality, it just feels like such a real connection, and you can tell it's a real human being. And it's something that got lost in internet marketing, or maybe it was never there in the first place, and just the greats kind of knew how to, I guess, use it. Um, but that's another one of the big things I would say to look for is just personality. Like, don't copy Carlton word for word,
Mm-hmm.
you use your own personality. Like what, and same with Kennedy. Like, don't be the old sarcastic curmudgeon. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, use something else. But know that personality in itself is a incredibly powerful form of proof.
Yeah.
Um, it's, I mean, that's like that like subtle under the radar stuff that like even most copywriters don't even know is happening. Like they don't even know they're being sold to because personality is just one of those under the radar things.
Yeah.
It's like the magic thing.